Hey guys, so I decided to make a video about this because I think this is something really important, and this is for those of you who are thinking about going solar but don't really understand, solar yet. So let me explain to you. So this is regarding your system size. All right. So let me give you a scenario of what happened. I met up with a friend of mine who I approached about going solar, and I do this with all my friends and family because I believe in it. So anyway, I gave him a proposal, and I followed up with him today, and he said, I said, what's up? What are your questions? What are, your concerns? Anything I can go over with you again? Because I'm very thorough. I want people to understand everything about solar. And so he says, yeah, I met up with another company and they're actually offering me something lower. And I said, how so? And so he said, yeah, my payment's going to be like $50 less with them. And I was like, okay. So I already know. I said, can you send me over the proposal that they gave you? And so he did. Sent it over, and sure enough, I already knew that they're giving him a system that is smaller than the system that I was giving him. Okay, so, and this is something that really pisses me off. Okay, about my industry is that there will be salespeople out there who they'll want to sell you the. They just want to close the deal. So what he did is he said, okay, well, I'm assuming he asked him, well, how much is he charging you? And he said, well, my price is going to be this. But what he did is he gave him a proposal with a system size that is smaller. And so why is that important? Like, most people are like, well, is that a big deal? I'm like, yeah, it's a huge deal. So let me explain to you basically what's going to happen here. So, like, let's say that you need a system that's going to produce 10,000 kilowatt hours per year, okay? But the system size that you got is only producing 9,000 kilowatt hours per year, okay? So you're short 1,000 kilowatt hours. So what happens is that you're still going to have to go back to Edison or whoever your utility company is to buy those extra 1,000, okay? So now why would that matter? Before July of 2017, that wouldn't be such a huge deal because you just buy that energy from Edison, and you buy it at a fairly low rate. So now what Edison has done is so what happened is this, okay? Forever and ever and ever, Edison was charging everybody on a tier rate. So you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Okay, tier 1 rates are fairly low, but that's for people who are, very low users. So if you're using between 0 and 300 kilowatt, more or less, hours per month, you're going to pay this rate. If you're between 300 and it always changes between 300 and let's just say 900, it's going to be a higher rate, and then tier 3 is the highest rate. Okay. So if you're only short 1,000 kilowatt hours in a year, so you can pay tier 1 rates, and that's fine, no big deal. But Edison was like, wait a minute, why are we're losing money here? And obviously they're losing money. So what they've done is, instead of putting you on, whenever you go solar, instead of having you stay on that tier rate, they created something called time of use. So time of use is it doesn't matter how much you're using, it matters what time of day you're using the energy. Okay, so time of use rates are much higher than tier 1 rates. So if you're having to buy an extra 1,000 kilowatt hours a year from Edison or whoever your utility company is, you're not buying it at tier 1 rates, you're buying it at time of use rates, which are 45 cents in some cases. That's which is it's high, it's ridiculous. Tier 1 rates, for example, are 17 cents a kilowatt hour. That's a huge difference. So I explained this to him. I said, listen, this is what's happening. The proposal you got here is for a smaller system. Okay, you need a bigger system than this to make sure that, one, you're covering all the energy that you're going to consume, and two, you need a little bit bigger system, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to buy energy from Edison, because then you're going to be screwed. You're going to have to buy that extra energy at a higher rate. So this is one thing that I'm I always like make sure it gets into people's heads, that you want to make sure that you oversize your system, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're having to buy energy from Edison, because then the whole point of going solar is to save money. And if Edison has this new strategy to attack solar customers, and this is the number one complaint that I get from people that already went solar. Oh yeah, but I pay my solar bill, and I still pay Edison $500 a year. So what happens is that once a year, you get something that's called a true-up bill. Okay, so like starting in January, if you're still buying energy from Edison, you don't pay it. I mean, you can pay it on a monthly basis if you want to. You just have to call them. But usually you pay it on a yearly basis. Okay, so starting in January, you start accumulating, the amount of energy that you're still purchasing from Edison. At the end of the year, you get what's called a true-up bill. And some people get this true-up bill that is high because the guy that helped them did not size the system properly. Because sometimes people expect a savings of 50%, and the guy is like, well, okay, I'll do 50%, but then they give them a small system, and then they're screwed. And so it messes, people have, obviously, if somebody's discontent with what they've done, with the person that helped them screwed them, basically, they're going to tell their neighbor, and they're going to tell so-and-so, and they're going to tell so-and-so. And so it becomes very challenging for somebody who works in my industry like me. I'm trying to do the right thing and explain to people that they need to oversize their systems. And so obviously it's a difference of, in this case, it was a difference of $50, where he was giving them a system that was smaller, but it was going to save him $50. But then in the end, he's going to end up paying more, because he's going to have to pay Edison for the shortage of energy. So anyway, I didn't want to ramble too much, because I know you guys' time is valuable, but if this is something that you guys are thinking about doing, you absolutely, that's one thing that I'm very, 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 I try to make sure that you really understand the importance of why you need to make sure that your system size is right. Okay, so how do I make sure that happens? So I use a company called named Sunrun. And Sunrun is actually the largest company in the United States, and they've invested $10 million into their software. And so when you plug in, your address and which way your roof is facing, and your usage, then it's going to tell me, okay, you're going to need, and they're very, very conservative. So, like, let's say that you need a system that's going to produce 8,000 kilowatt hours per year, and they're telling me that I need 18 panels. Well, I know that those 18 panels are probably going to produce more than 8,000 kilowatt hours, because they're conservative with that number, because they have something that's called a production guarantee, meaning that they're guaranteeing that the system's going to produce that amount of energy. So I use them to design my system, because I'm very confident that, and I've never had one customer tell me, oh, I'm still getting bills from Edison. Actually, the contrary. I ask them, hey, did you get a bill from Edison? They're like, no, I got a check. So what happens is that if you overproduce, Edison will actually owe you money. They used to give you a check, but now they just give you a credit. Up to date, for example, in my case, it's July. From January to July, Edison owes me $7.25. So that's an indication that my system's producing everything that I need and more. So if for example, if I had a balance, like let's say that in July now I owe Edison $200 or whatever, then I know my system's not producing enough, and I need, I need to either cut down on my consumption or add more panels. But in my case, I'm good because the guy who helped me did his job right. He made sure that my system was going to produce what I needed, and so I'm good. So anyway, if you have questions, dude, seriously, just reach out, and yeah, have a good day.